Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Haripriya 2.0. I'm back with a brand new episode. Today's episode is going to be interesting. This is something that I always wanted to share with my brothers and sisters. So let's check it out. All right, one of the first things that I wanted to tell you guys who are in late teens or early 20s is take your time more seriously. Yes, the number one thing is TIME, time. The reason why I'm saying time is more important is for some reason in India we believe 20s is something that we need to chill out, we need to hang out with friends, we need to just explore or be an adventurer, which is 100% true, which I don't deny. But I honestly, when I look back now, I think 20s is a perfect age to find out your passion, what you really want to do with rest of your life. So the statement that I just made, find out your passion, I know it's such a cliche word. I think it's been overused. The word passion has been very overused, that everybody talks about following a passion, having a dream, but nobody talks about how do you find out what your passion is, what you're passionate about. So one thing that has worked for me is really spending time with myself, like no distraction, no influence, not being influenced, just sitting with myself thoroughly, understanding or asking myself these questions, like, what is something that I want to do every single day? What is something that I would be enjoying even when I am 40 or 50 years old? What is something that I will not have any regrets doing when I get old? These questions have been so powerful for me in finding out what I'm passionate about. So I would recommend you to do the same if you're not sure about what your passion is. But I've seen some friends who are very clear on what they want to do in their life. For example, I have many friends who are passionate or who are very obsessed about artist or producing art. So in their heads the path is very clear, and that's not the case for everyone, right? Like, for example, me, I always think in my head there are like 10 different tabs open. I don't know what to focus on. So I really advise you to spend your 20s in planning out what you want to do for next few years of your life. This is and the second thing that I would like to touch on is be your own decision maker, really. What I meant by being your own decision maker is, think of it like this. If you have to do something in your life, if you want to become something, who is making decisions for you today? So it could be like your mom, your dad, your siblings, your brother, sister, or even your friends. So there could be many decision makers, but I think it's really important for you to be the owner of your decisions. There is no harm in seeking advice. Again, I'm not making any suggestions against taking advice or talking or listening to your parents. What I'm saying is, be the owner, be the guy, be the girl that is making decisions for yourself. Like whatever that is, whatever you're passionate about. Like I said, in step number 1, find out what your passion is, and step number 2 is about be at it, stick to it. So the only reason why I'm saying is, after 30s or maybe like 40s, if you don't do it in your early years, like you would start developing a guilt or a fear that, oh my god, I wish I could have done something different, or I could have done something better. So in order to avoid that situation, it's really important to make conscious decisions way early in the game, like when you're 20s, so you're not repenting too late in the game. And number three is learn how to say no. No. I know this is very hard, especially for women. For South Asian women, it's a very hard skill to say no, because that is something that we are not trained from the beginning, from the childhood. So we were always told or rewarded when we say yes to everything. So that's our indication, or in our brains, that's how we see. Like if I'm saying yes to a person, or if I'm not saying no to a person, that means I am less rude. I'm sure you have even seen these in movies or in your own families, where a person who says yes to everything is like the best friend for everybody. But really, if you don't master this skill in your 20s, it is going to affect you in your 30s, in your 40s, and I'm sure it's going to affect all through your life. And also, especially in your career, it's very, very important. I can't stress enough about how important it is to learn how to say no. So no, again, doesn't have to be like a rude thing. So there is a thin line between aggressive and assertive. So if you don't know what assertive means, like, just Google it up and learn the differences. Or maybe I can make another video on when you say no, how to be not aggressive and how to be assertive. So this is such an important skill that I think all kids should start learning from a very young age, not even 20s, not even teens. So saying no means you know what you want and what you don't want. So it's that sense of clarity in your brain that you know your shit. It's as simple as that. So I would highly recommend for you to practice saying no at right times to right people, and don't shy away or don't be intimidated or don't take any guilt in saying no. Because trust me guys, like now I'm 32 and I think I have wasted so much energy in dealing with situations or even people or even friends, just because I didn't have the skill or courage to say no. So, well, let's talk about number fourth item in the list, that is relationships. When I say relationships, 20 is such a fun age to try out relationships. So if you're in a relationship, don't worry, don't be shy, or don't be guilty that you're doing a bad thing, because we have this. If you're in India, if you're growing up in India, there is this conflict between what's happening in school versus what happens in the home. So at home, relationships are such a taboo. It's like very frowned upon. You can't be honest with your parents that you're in a relationship. Again, like, this is not true for all the parents, but this is true with the families that I have personally interacted with at a personal level, and the stories that I have heard from. And whereas on the other side, in the schools and colleges, there is this pressure coming from friends or peers that, hey, they are seeing each other. He has a girlfriend, she has a girlfriend, or she has a girlfriend, or he has a boyfriend. There is this pressure that some kids like to take, and also feeling down that there is something wrong with them for not being in a relationship in their 20s. But right here, I'm telling you, like a sister who is 32, like, who has seen it, who has passed that phase, don't worry, really do not stress out at all. If you're in a relationship, that's great. If you're exploring your options, that's wonderful, that's beautiful. The only one thing that I would like to tell you, for folks who are in relationship, or choose your relationships very wisely, because end of the day, you are investing a chunk of your life in this relationship, be it like 6 months, 1 year, 2 year, until you try it out. Be more conscious about how you're doing that relationships. Really use this time to test it out. Whereas other folks who are not in a relationship, there is nothing wrong with not being in a relationship. It just means that it's not in your priority list yet. Maybe you're focusing on yourself. Maybe you want to focus on your career, which is a fantastic thing to do. Be aware, be assured that there is no pressure in proving yourself to be successful in a relationship when you are in 20s. Again, I want to touch on this topic where our Indian society has these deadlines for people to get married. For example, for women, if you're not married before 30, or I think 26 is the cutoff time. I don't know. Maybe you can write down in the comments and what is the cutoff time. Now, when I grew up, I think 22, 23 was like the peak time to get married. Now when I look back, I got married when I was 22. Now when I look back, I was like, what the hell? Like, I didn't even know what I want when I was 22. So I want you to be like more conscious on making your relationship choices, and do not believe in the society made deadlines. So men, you don't have to get married before 30 to prove your worth, and women, you don't have to be married before 25 to prove that you are a worthy woman. So that's my 2 cents on relationships. Don't be shy, again, and don't be worried if you're not in a relationship. Everything is going to be sorted out when you are in your 30s. The last one, the 5th one that I want to tell everyone is mentorship. Mentorship, when I say the word mentorship, I'm sure many of you are thinking like a professor or like a teacher where they teach you on what to do, what not to do. And that is good. That is purely academic perspective. But when I say mentorship, I wish I had mentors all through my life for different things. From a culture or from a country where I grew from, for me, mentor is a friend. So I think that's such a big toll, or let me just say, such a big responsibility that, one person cannot obviously fulfill all your needs. When I say needs, there are more needs than you actually think. So one need is emotional need. So the friends that we have, the close friends that we hang out with, are really good with giving us this emotional comfort or cushion. So they are here to serve our emotional needs. And there are other type of needs that we have as we grow up. I think the needs that I have discovered are financial advice, financial needs. Like, if you're hanging out with a person of same age, they don't really know. They're still figuring out their life. So you may not necessarily know or get the right amount of advice from that person. So I would encourage you to have your mentor for financial planning, for things like career advice, career guidance, even relationship. That's another mentorship that just look around and see, like, who is that ideal couple that I admire, that I think are doing great in their life. So I would go reach out to them and see, hey, what is something that you guys are prioritizing, or what is something that's working for you. Just having these open conversations about what's working, what's not working, I think is very, very, very helpful for you to get a clear or obvious picture on both sides of the coin. I would say just don't look at the bright side. I'm sure any mentor would be happy to share their lessons. When I say lessons, it's not always success stories. And I'm a huge advocate for preparing someone for failures, on how to handle failures. So that is something that I always look forward for my mentors to teach me. How do I plan for my failure? How have you done in a situation, in a similar situation? So I would recommend you to have a mentor that can give you right advice at right time and stick to it. And parents, of course, are wonderful mentors, so they always wish the best for us, but sometimes they may not necessarily know or have all the information that other people might have. So just look around and see who is doing good in what area, and don't shy away from asking for help, so seeking help and advice. So I haven't even seen one single person rejecting my mentorship request, or I don't know if it's a mentee. So whenever I go and ask, hey, I really like what you're doing this, would you mind if I learn from you, or would you mind coaching me for a few minutes a month? So please do have some mentors, and I'm sure you will benefit a ton out of that relationship as well.